I wouldn't want to go against anybody in the verses for two reasons. Anybody that you want to put me against, I influence those people.
My man.
You know what I mean? Before them, there was me. And before me, there was one, which is Amu. And between me, I come from a group of producers that I just somehow managed to pull through. It was myself, Oots, Battlecat, Nyams, even a couple, even Octo, the guys from Octo for Play, also, a couple of producers. So I come from an era that what you see happening as producers right now wasn't happening. I had to create that mode.
Yeah.
You know, I had to create the mode. The way rappers also, the way maybe you say Khuli Chan and AKA created a mode for rappers because this is possible.
Yeah,
you can actually do that. That's why now you see the next season. Now I want to make this a career. I'm definitely doing this a career. I did the same for producers. Like, yo, this is not the joke. You can live off this. You can actually be something. So not to mention any names, but any name that you can mention after that, I'd be surprised if I didn't influence him being a producer, especially a full-time producer, not just making beats, but trying to be behind the boards in a serious note. I don't think there's a producer that I didn't influence in that level. So there's nobody I can be put against, you know.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the boys are back to business, and this time we have a very special guest, a legendary producer in the game, Mr. PH RawX.
What's up, my brother? You are?
I'm great, bro. Thank you so much for coming on our show.
Good. No doubt. This is what it's about. You guys are a bit controversial. A little bit. I've seen one or two.
You see one or two.
What stood out to you?
Well, you're the one. The one, you know, but yeah, man. No time that must come through. You said you guys are really good at this thing. So I was like, yeah, let's do it.
So
I'm down for
podcasts.
I love podcasts, yeah.
Yeah, that's dope. So I actually heard that like the golden era of SA hip hop started at your studios. How true is that?
Dude.
Like a large percentage of it.
What is the golden era? When was the golden era?
From like, I would say 2010 to like 15, 16.
For me, like 2009 to like 2016, around there, 15, you know?
Yeah, you could say that, you know. I think I had a big hand in being part of most of the artists that were coming out at the time. Not just developing artists, but also offering my services as an engineer. So I recorded a lot of albums. I recorded a lot of new artists that are now big artists. And yes, I was right in the center of it, man. I was right in the center of making the music during that time.
But like, why? What drew everyone to you? Like, why did everyone come to you? Because even when you talk about you with other producers, they always say that, man, like your place was like a hub. You'd go to your studios, you'd find someone there.
Yeah,
you know?
I'm not sure, man. I think God did it. I don't know, man. I didn't plan that. I just wanted to have a studio and make music, and everything else just came together. So I think my ability to deal with people and work with people and be diverse in how I work with people and different artists, I think, and also creating a space where having a space that allows people to be creative. You know, most of the studios during then were very strict, not strict, but very formal, for lack of a better word, very strict and very straightforward. You know, there was no space for creativity. You had to just go there, record, and be out. So my space, I wanted someone to come there and feel like they were doing it in their own room, in their own space, but still have the professional outtake out of it.
Abo, don't drink in my studio.
Yeah, the studio
do not
rules
smile if you don't know
Those are
me.
important rules. Those are important rules. I mean, I wouldn't say it was a don't drink in my studio. It was more come vibe, you know what I mean? And whichever way you choose to vibe, you know what I mean? If you drink, you drink. But I didn't allow drinking in my corner though, in the control area. So
yeah.
So there were a couple of rules, but I think it's just the freedom, you know, especially that rappers like, that most professional studios wouldn't provide, you know, because obviously they work with all kinds of clients. So rappers like a free space where they can do their thing. So I think because I provided that and I provided a skill that was sought out for at the time, you know, engineering and recording and and getting the best out of artists. I think that's what attracted people to me.
So like, what do you think about those crazy rules? Like, if you don't vibe, get out of my studio. If you're not happy, if you're
You
not
know, if you don't
bouncing
put a
your
smile,
head,
those schoolboy Q and
you
the,
get out.
if
Do
you,
not
if you don't
smile
have a
at
smile
me.
on your face, get out of the room.
If that's how they want to work, that's what makes it work. You know, I mean, it's your studio, it's your creative space. It's if you want to have those rules to be able to enable you to be creative, that's it. If you want people to come in there wearing underwears, because that's what you get the best out of. Whoever's willing to do that, let them do it. You know what I mean? It's not really, there's no rules for it, but it is a people's space, I feel. Now, it is a creative space, so I think people just want the excess of creativity all the time. So if you're too serious, maybe the whole thing of wearing a smile, like, dude, it's a free space. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, don't be too cool or don't be too anything. You know what I mean? So maybe coming in with that attitude just breaks the mold and say, yeah. So yeah, I mean, I don't have rules, too many rules. I don't think.
What's your rules?
Yeah?
What's your rules?
Respect me.
Okay.
And respect the space more than anything. Respect me and respect the space, and then everything else will fall into place.
What made you wanna like invest in the studio? And at what point in your career did you say, okay, I'm gonna put money into building a studio, and I wanna play a very important role in the SA hip hop era?
I mean, before even this golden era that you guys refer to, I came in the game during what I would call my golden era, you know, during the times when Wazabs, Will Do Me were coming up, Do Me in the Volume, Optical Illusion, so many, you know, HHPs and so forth, you know, during that time. So during that time, man, I don't know, it's not like now, rapping was on a high level. You know, rapping was high level. That's why you still have people like Will Do Me and Reason still around right now, because they come from that era where rapping was a high level thing, and that's how they've maintained their careers. And during that time, I also wanted to be a rapper, but I was like, no ways, not around those guys.
They're doing too much.
There's no way you can compete with these guys.
I made a great decision. Like, you know what? I'm gonna supply something else for now. You know, I mean, it's not like I quit rapping, but I knew kind of, I'm dealing with hyenas here, you know, and maybe I'm just a little whatever, you know, but so I just respected what they were doing, and I just still wanted to be a part of it. So I got into more producing and got into engineering, and that's where I invested my time and my money into.
So, but tell me though, like, where did it actually start for you? Like, when did you first click Fruity Loops, or are you before Fruity Loops?
I never used Fruity Loops.
Oh,
which software do you use?
Never used
what
Fruity
did you
Loops.
use?
I used I started with Acid Pro. You probably don't know it.
Yo, I was like, what? Acid?
Yeah, Acid Pro. You probably don't know it.
Yeah.
During the time when Fruity Loops was coming out, I mean, just like any time when things are coming out, there's always like a vast choice of things. Just like when cell phones came out, you would have Nokia, Ericsson's, Philips, all these kind of phones. Until now, we have basically 2 or 3 at a go, right? So even then, when production was becoming more of a home studio thing, when Fruity Loops and stuff were coming out, there was a whole lot of hosts of other programs that came out too. You know, Acid Pro was one of them. You know, Reason was also the ones that came out of that. Not Reason, the rapper.
Yeah,
there's a program called
Reason.
Yeah, that's also one that came out during that time. So I gravitated to, well, I didn't even gravitate to, I was given that one, and that's the only one I had, was Acid Pro. And and that's about it. And the reason I got that was because we used to go to this other white man's to record back in high school. So now, if you're booking hours, right, and at the time also didn't have beats.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So we would rap to just BPMs or tempos, like kum, ka, kum, just knock it. We're writing to this tempo. You know, wow, that's how we would write and prepare a whole song. Here's the hook, what, and then get to the studio. And then I have to create the beats, you know, because this white man was like, okay, we want the beat to be like this, like that. Very generic white boy hip hop was not good at all, you know, the production, you know what I mean? But we could rap, but we spent too much hours. Let's say we booked 3 hours, we spent 2 hours trying to make the beat. And then the next hour we all had to, and there was like 3 or 4 of us, we all had to now rap. So after a while, the guy was like, the white dude there was like, yo man, take this program, make the beats at home, and then come here prepared. You know what I mean? Because then you'll be using your time more efficiently at that time. So that's what we did, and that's how I got the Acid Pro, and that pretty much since then I started producing.
Is it true that you discovered Aries?
I wouldn't say I discovered Aries. He almost discovered me.
He almost discovered you.
Yeah. You found me. His brother, Jody and TK.
From Benchmark.
Yeah, Benchmark. Those are my brothers. So from they used to send me their beats, XLR beats. It used to be called XLR then. I don't know if you guys know that, but then there were beat makers too. So they would send me beats because they wanted to be part of the game, and they were all the way in Pretoria. And like you're saying, RawX was becoming the hub of the whole thing, so they would just send me beats and stuff like that. And then the one time they came through, I told them to come through, or they invited themselves, or whatever the case was. And we just developed a good little small relationship, but it didn't take long until they said, no, you know what, dude, you need to hear my brother.
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
This time he was like 15 type stuff.
Man, I think I was in grade 9 or 10, I'm not sure. Yeah. I think it was just before matric or something like that, a year before matric or so. So yeah, I'm not cool. They played me 1 or 2 songs, done.
You were convinced.
I knew it. I knew it immediately. And this, I don't think they even released the stuff, but I just knew it.
This is a star.
I knew he's the one. He's the freaking one.
Is it true that you tried to get him to sign to Khuli though?
No way. No, I don't know who. If anything, I think Khuli tried to get him for me. Yeah.
Why didn't you sign him though? I mean, I can imagine.
I did sign. I did sign Aries. Aries was signed under RawX. But our contract ended, and then not Ambitious. What's the other one?
Which one?
Yes, Ambitious. Yes,
Yeah,
Ambitious. Yes, Ambitious came through and came through.
After the contract ended, or like during the contract?
After the contract ended, I wanted to renew with him, but at the time, Ambitious was out there. Was knocking on his door, and they had enough bags and enough things to put on his table too. And I could understand. I know his life. I know where he comes from. I know his parents. I know his struggle. So
did you feel any other way after the deal happened with Ambitious?
No, I did feel sad because it's someone that I invested so much in, and I knew he was the guy. But then also, this is what I was doing it for. You know what I mean? This is what I was doing it for, so he can elevate. And I took him to a point where I think I couldn't take him anymore. Maybe from a label perspective, you know what I mean? Maybe as a producer, as someone that he knows, I could still help. But from a label perspective, I think he needed a bit more, and that's what Ambitious offered him. I think at the time, they were giving him what he needed, which is stability too. You know what I mean? Which is what we all need as artists. So I think they gave him that. Also gave that to his brother too. You can imagine. They come a long way. So I wasn't disappointed in them moving.
Sure. So you have like one of the craziest catalogs in the game. Who do you think you can go against in a versus? Do you think there's anybody?
No one can go against
man.
team.
I wouldn't want to go against anybody in the versus for 2 reasons. Anybody that you want to put me against, I influence those people.
My man.
You know what I mean? Before them there was me, and before me there was one, which is Amu. And between me, I come from a group of producers that I just somehow managed to pull through. It was myself, Oots, Battlecat, Nyams, even Octo, the guys from Octo for Play, also a couple of producers. So I come from an era that what you see happening as producers right now wasn't happening. I had to create that mold. I had to create the mold. The way rappers also, the way maybe you say Khuli and AKA created a mold for rappers because this is possible. You can actually do that. That's why now you see the next season. Now I want to make this a career. I'm definitely doing this a career. I did the same for producers. Like, yo, this is not the joke. You can live off this. You can actually be something. So not to mention any names, but any name that you can mention after that, I'd be surprised if I didn't influence him being a producer, especially a full-time producer, not just making beats, but trying to be behind the boards in a serious note. I don't think there's a producer that I didn't influence in that level. So there's nobody I can be put against, And at the same time, I would acknowledge there's a lot of guys that made hits, maybe even more bigger hits than me when it comes to number one. But
I know. Maybe not.
Maybe not. Depending how you see it, right?
Yeah.
But then
you'd have to go against gospel people. No. You know, you have to
Not
go
just
against
the hip-hop kids,
not
ne?
hip hop, all genres. man.
Okay, maybe, you know what I mean? So yeah, that's my stance on that. You know, I'm a little past the competition with my peers. I don't have peers when it comes to production. I have peers, but I don't have competition peers, if you know what I mean. Everybody's my sons for
You're their sons.
Yeah.
No, but like, tell me, in like, if on that note, like, who have you grown in the industry with that is still with you right now? Like, because after a while they fade off, you know.
Yeah.
And then you
True.
remain, you know.
True.
So who has been there since you'd say your inception, you know, of your career?
Caesar Alakai. That's my bestie, man, and reason. That's my homie.
Hey,
Helicopters out in Bryanston.
Get the chopper go.
Yeah.
So definitely reason, man. Like I'm saying, we came up around the same time, but separately. During the time of what you call reason, not reason,
Motive.
Dumi and the volume and stuff.
Oh, yeah,
stuff.
yeah. Motive.
Before Motive.
Before Motive.
Man.
you mean the volume days?
Yeah. And before that, because he was signed under, what was that label, man? That was the first big hip hop label in South Africa. It was pretty much what we thought was going to be our Def Jam. What was it? Because Zaz was signed under that. Tabi was signed under that. You probably don't know one Tabi.
Tabi, the lady.
The lady rapper,
Yes,
the female
yes.
rapper. Reason was also signed under that. Blvck as a producer was signed under that. Optical Illusion was signed under. What was the group?
Gallo.
No, man. It was an independent.
Oh.
It was independent.
Who?
But anyway, I'll think about it now. So that was that. What was your question again?
I was asking you, like, in terms of your growth, who has been there with you for a while?
So
Reason,
I
yeah.
guess reason from then. That's what I'm saying. From that
Oh, from
time,
way back. Yeah.
way before he was reason. You know what I mean? When he was still running around with Fresh, trying to do the morning shows and stuff like that. So from early days. And I speak to him every week. We see each other every week. We loan each other every money every week. That's my brother, for real.
Yo, that's crazy.
Wait, I just want to ask you something about Reason. Did he ghostwrite for Boiti?
No, I don't know anything about that.
Did he ghostwrite for Maporisa?
I don't know anything about
Madumane.
that.
But like, tell me though, what's
How
the
do you feel
craziest
about-
verse that you've heard that was ghostwritten and no one knows? Like, you
Like
know,
South African, like I
yes,
wrote.
yeah.
But what's the point of ghostwriting if people can just like let it go?
No,
Isn't
like,
that the point of
you know-
ghostwriting to remain ghost?
No. Also, you would like to like give them props.
No,
you
that's
know?
not the point. That's why it's called ghostwrite. That's not the point.
I mean, the
That's
audience
definitely
kind of...
not the point. Like
Really?
the props are not supposed to be for the ghostwriter. That's
I mean,
not,
like,
that's
we're
not the
not
point.
looking down on the person that delivered the verse.
But that's not the
Mara.
point. Still, like that's not the point. If that person wants to be spoken about, then you will get credited.
Mm.
You'll be credited, or you'll say I wrote that. You know, but I think you take away from the artist. That's you know, it's like you coming to someone's house and say it's nice grass. Where did you get it from?
yeah.
Like, dog, here's the grass. Are you not
Sure.
enjoying the grass? Where I got it from? Where does that come from? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like, unless I'm saying, like this grass, there's different names, there's different shit. I don't know what I'm saying, but at the same time, like, I don't feel it's important to discuss that if that's the approach. The approach of I have a ghostwriter. Oh, I don't think anybody says I have a ghostwriter. You guys just figure it out because you guys are journalists or podcast people or whatever the case is.
Yeah.
You figure it out. But once you figure it out, I know you want to make it a subject, but it's not something to be discussed, man, because it takes away from the artists. Because there are artists that get written for and they're credited that, and there's no problem. Yo,
Yeah.
this person wrote for me, and that's fine. You can talk about that. But if someone has taken that route, I don't think it does anybody justice. It really doesn't. It's just a good conversation to say, but it really doesn't do anybody justice.
Really?
I don't think so.
So in terms of like hip hop and ghostwriting, what's your thought on that? Like, in terms of, because we always
I mean, it's been
take
happening
pride
for
in-
years and
Yeah,
years.
well,
It has
you know?
been. I mean, it has been. I don't have too much of a problem, but I understand where it comes from. You know, it's hip hop. Hip hop is a very egotistical, very, macho thing. You know, so, and we come from a space where we weren't even accepted by music as a whole. Hip hop coming from America, never mind even South African based. Like hip hop was never accepted as a whole. It was its own little thing that was never supposed to survive, but it did. Not only did it do that, it became a part of the music and became a leading part of the music industry as a whole.
And it's the biggest now
in
in the world.
the world. With that put, it has to now play the game. You know what I mean? Like in the sense of we have a host of a lot of artists. We have a host of writers, host of producers. All these people have to play a game. You can't have one person just doing everything. You know what I mean? You know, that's why Bash has made an example of this so many times. When Bash the Boities.
Yeah, the
Bash Vision.
Yeah. Like, you know, do you think Beyonce is number one because she does that thing by herself?
No.
Now,
Do
of
you
course
think-
not. She has a whole
Do you
team.
think Adele is number one
No.
because she's in the studio by herself writing her
Nah.
lyrics? She has a host of people making sure even her idea is taken to the next level. You know, you can have the idea, maybe even have a verse, but so let's change it here, let's do that. So
Sure.
I think hip hop has come to that space where we need to be able to kind of locate and identify what we need and use it. You know what I mean? And kind of put the ego thing. Yes, if you're a good rapper, you can be a good rapper, but not a good writer. You can be a good writer, not a good rapper.
The delivery is so important
Yeah,
too, you know?
but now we're in the game where we all can find spaces. You know what I mean? You don't have to be a rapper. There's a lot of rappers that write but don't know how to deliver, and they're so forceful to rap because that's the only way they can get their words right. I mean, we'll get their writing out, you know. But now if it's allowed in hip hop or made to be okay, you know what I mean? So yo, as a rapper, you can write for me. Then we're giving other people jobs. We're also growing the industry on a hip hop perspective. You know, there'll be more positions for everybody to play instead of rapper, producer, DJ, rapper, producer, DJ. That doesn't help the game at all because now we're creating a host of talents. You know, whether it's dancers, writers, creative directions, song, you know, arrangers, and all the kind of things. You know what I mean? So and those things have to play a part.
Did you advise Reason to jump on Amapiano?
No, I didn't advise him. I remember when he sent me his first two, I didn't like him. I didn't like him at all. And I told him, you would, because that's how we bounce off like that. I was like,
Right.
I have no problem with you jumping on my piano. I actually don't have a problem with that. But I didn't like what he was doing at the time. I didn't remember. I don't think the songs ever got released anyway.
How long ago is this?
I mean, just like last year, I think.
Oh, last year.
Yeah.
So he's been like, because he only came in this year. But
No,
maybe
man.
behind the scenes he's been trying to...
Yeah. I think, the last year, 2 years, sometimes I confuse the time. But I think it's
Cool.
either early this year or last year,
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken. I listened to that. I was okay with it. Then I saw one of his clips when he was, one of his Insta clips or whatever the case is. Then I was like, whoa.
That's something.
Coming with the fire.
Yeah, because what he's doing there he doesn't do in rap. He's toned in everything. The only thing he does in rap, he adds in rap ad-libs.
Yeah.
The background, but the energy, But what he's doing, no, all that flow, been in the game for so long, and you've done something like hip hop or something different for so long, and you want to move on to something else. It's not a must, but it's important to reintroduce yourself, rediscover yourself, and repackage yourself, and rebrand yourself. And sometimes a name change could be the perfect thing. You know what I mean? Because with Reason, so much is attached to Reason. I mean, 20 years of being in the hip hop game, a lot is attached to it. Not to say also Amapiano. I mean, you guys are finding it difficult because he is from hip hop. He's not a 2-year guy. He's been in hip hop since almost inception. And now he's doing Amapiano, and that's why it's difficult for people to kind of accept that, because there is so much Reason. He's freaking Reason. You're not finding it difficult with Blackie, even though Blackie's a rapper. Because you don't have too much time with them in hip hop. They're still introducing themselves, so you accept whatever you can and you take whatever you can. But with Reason, we've known him for so long, so many albums, so many classics, so many eras that he's been a part of. And now he's doing Amapiano. So that is a big change, not only for him, that he has to adjust and change and find an angle, but for everybody too. Not only the fans, but also people just like listening to music.
So tell me though, like when I'm analyzing Reason and what's happened in the last 2 years, it's like, do you think that there's some sort of patriotic or stubbornness that SA hip hop doesn't want to evolve with other South African genres?
Wow, man. When it comes to this question around hip hop and Amapiano, or just hip hop status right now, the answer I've come to after thinking about it and speaking to a couple of people too about it is, this is a very deep thing. It's a very black problem, South African black problem. It's not even a hip hop or music problem per se. It's just not hip hop. It's an element of it or whatever, but it's taking a face of it. But this is an identity problem from a black perspective, South African black perspective, that is just flowing over hip hop or Amapiano. For the longest of time, South Africa hasn't had piece of identity when it comes to music. Kwaito came, kind of gone. Hip hop came during that time, but it kind of stayed. So it kind of stayed, and we've always had a love-hate relationship with hip hop because it's not ours, but we use it to represent ourselves so much. You know what I mean? We use it, but it's not ours. And at the same time, we're crying for something that's our own. Little Dawn comes out, we love it, but it's
didn't last.
Yeah, it didn't last. You know, whatever happens. So hip hop, we've never been able to let it go because it represents us so much. But at the same time, it's not us, it's American. And we have that whole identity thing in South Africa. You know what I mean? So that being American and also identifying with us so much gave us more confusion. We don't know how to handle hip hop, you know? So now it comes to Amapiano, which is basically what hip hop was in America, for lack of a better word. You know what I mean? When it came out in the 80s or the 70s, that side. And now, because now we finally feel we have something of our own that the world is accepting. You know, maybe the other ones that was just bit South African. But now, because, you know, we like to show off to the world. We want to be accepted by the world. So, you know, we want to be American as much as we want. As black, as want to act, we want to be international, right? Just like you said, the vocalistic running the world, right? So now we have Amapiano that's giving that stage now. And actually it's a big a sound, if not the biggest sound in the world right now. First thing we do is let go of hip hop. Because this is the thing that's been kind of, now we have a true identity. This thing that we won't show off, that was giving us identity a little bit, but we want to show off, you know, having up and down relation now for seconds. Because now we have this thing, you know what I mean? And I think that's, for me, that's the basis of the conversation, of the whole thing with hip hop, South Africa, and everything. It's and Amapiano. It's a black identity crisis situation that is just overflowing into music. People trying to tell people how to rap, how to do things, how to do that. It's because we're trying to see ourselves in other people, because we're struggling with who we are as individuals. Maybe we don't know. Maybe I couldn't be a rapper, but now you could be a rapper. So be a rapper for all of us. It's just like too much, whether it's personal or on a national or as a group of black people. I don't know, but it's nothing to do with hip hop. It has nothing to do with music. It actually has to do with black people and their identity crisis that we have to deal with in a deep way that is so rooted that I don't even know where to kind of, you know, it's so rooted in so many ways, in the way we act, how our women are, how the guys are, how our children are acting, is based on our identity. We're always kind of fighting who we are and what we're supposed to be or what we want to be. South Africa, that's South Africa. Trying to balance it or get rid of the other to fit in this. Okay, maybe I shouldn't be too black. Okay, maybe I shouldn't. It's always a balance that we are not getting right, or I don't know why we need to get it right. I don't know why we don't even have a balance. I don't know why there should be a balance. I don't know.
I feel like they should be able to coexist all together as genres.
Of course.
There's no reason to kick the other one down because you're up.
There isn't. But like I'm saying, it's not happening with any other genre. Amapiano has killed a lot of genres, okay?
But they didn't pick on other genres, only hip-hop.
Afro soul is not, Afro pop is not doing too much well. House is definitely dead. You know, we basically have one house song at a go right now, which is Osama, you know? And then I don't even mention R&B, and then
Afro-tech and
all those things, and it's Amapiano. This is not a hip hop problem.
You don't think because
it's not a hip hop problem. It's not even a problem. As far as I'm concerned, we have a genre that the world is accepting. Of course, everything is gonna slow down and stop. This is a world genre right now that's coming from South Africa. It's beating hip hop in the world, in the sense. It's a big genre. Everything will have to stop and take a second thought. You know what I mean? Even hip hop, even Kwaito, even Gom, even every genre has to kind of rethink.
But don't you think that this is an opportunity for all the other genres to become a subgenre of Amapiano.
There's no reason. Why must it be a subgenre of anything? It's Amapiano is doing well. Continue.
Yeah.
Amapiano won't be there forever, guys.
Yeah.
When I say be there forever, I'm not saying it's gonna die. It won't be number one forever. Nothing stays number one forever.
It's gonna evolve.
Yeah, it's gonna evolve. And also, if it doesn't evolve,
It's gonna die.
That's bad on us. Like, whatever music must, then we are boring creatives. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're boring creatives. That's why we've moved from Kwaito to gone to Amapiano. That's what we do.
Shows the innovation.
Yeah, that's what South Africans do. We're a dance nation, number one.
Yeah,
don't forget that. We're a dance nation. We're not a hip hop nation. We're a dance nation. So dance music at any given time will take over.
Yeah.
Good. That's why we know December we lay back, right?
Yeah.
We've been laying back since 1994, guys. Since
Last 20 years.
we've known.
Yeah.
Throughout December, let it go.
It's going down.
Your rap, your R&B, let it go. It's dancing time. It's going to be Kwaito or whatever it is might be.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So that is not a hip-hop problem again. That is just how South Africa is. You know what I mean? And any genre has to work around that. And if you're non-dance, you have to work around that. You know what I mean? There's no way we'll ever be anything, not more than a dance nation, because that's in our blood.
Yeah.
We're rhythmic, we're here. We're a dance nation. We're go. Instead of go, tune to go, tune. That we've grown into a culture to being that. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But musically, we're very rhythmic and repetitive and very simple. You know what I mean? In how we approach our music. So Amapiano doing what it's supposed to do this, but it's nothing to say this must die or this must go or whatever the case is. It's a good time to give hip hop not a chance, but for hip hop to go back and we've been number one for a while, guys.
Yeah, the guys
Reevaluate
were
yourselves.
the guys were at the top.
Yeah, we're at the top, and that's why we've been crapped on, because you know when number one is number two. Number two is as good as number 100. If you've been number one.
Sure.
If you've been number one, number
Especially
two.
when you have that bravado when you're at the top.
When you're there, we are hip hop the way we are.
Sure.
Number two, are vele.
Yeah, the Rolex buying people.
Sumo States. I told you for 20 years. It's been telling you Sumo States. Yeah. Now we have Amapiano.
They were buying Rolex.
That's our story.
Sure.
So that's our struggle. But trust me, dog, hip hop's not going anywhere. Only because hip hop evolves into hip hop, man. Like it's
Sure.
I think it's the only musical form that has created a culture within other musical forms. I don't think there's a musical genre that doesn't have hip hop, if not the dress code at the least.
Yeah.
At the least.
At the least.
Look at Amapiano how they way.
I'm talking about every genre.
Every genre.
Every genre. Hip hop, rap, dance, reggae, everything's hip hop.
Yeah.
It's hip hop. The way we handle ourselves, whatever, the way we carry ourselves, is hip hop. The only difference is the music that we bring out. You know, so that shit is not going anywhere anytime soon. And again, like you're saying, it's a brilliant time for South Africans to not reinvent, but like really own this hip hop as our own. You know what I mean? Because we can. You know, and Amapiano is not hip hop. Please, let's not ever confuse the two. It's not hip hop. How they handle themselves, their hip hop culture, but it's not. Let's not ever say Amapiano is the new hip hop.
But a lot of these new kids, they were actually hip hop artists before.
Yeah,
like Youngster, Nasser Trill, all these guys.
Guys, Amapiano was not there 15 years ago. These guys were born 15 years ago. They were around. They were making music. So you think they only started making music when they heard Amapiano? No.
Nah.
They grew from something. You know what I mean? And Amapiano came in and they gravitated to that. Why? Because we're South African. We are all gravitating to Amapiano, guys.
Sure.
We're just on different levels, you know what I mean? Whether you're hip hop or not, we're gravitating because it's actually our own. We relate to that type of music, you know. Whether you do it, whether you're gonna participate as a rapper or just be a fan, that's another thing. But it's no surprise that a lot of the kids that are coming out right now are able to jump into Amapiano, just like Blvck again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Blvck.
Because it came during the time when they were hip hop. You know what I mean? It's not something that they've known and now they decide, okay, now I'm doing reggae. That was how we're like, oh, since when were you trying to do reggae? You know what I mean? This thing has been here for long and now you just decided. But with Amapiano, it's something that has been part of development through their development as well. You know what I mean? So it's really just part of it.
Let me ask you this,
I
in
wanted to say
hip-hop,
something regarding that though, because like if you look at Kwaito is heavily influenced by hip hop, and then Kwaito influences Amapiano.
Yeah. I mean, just a bit of a correction. Kwaito is influenced by house music.
But how they jump on it?
No, the music itself.
The sound.
It's slowed down. It's slowed down house. It's slowed down old house music. 80s, early 90s house music. It's that slowed down to around the 90 BPMs and stuff like that. They sampled a lot. They listened to a lot of Kwaito stuff. I can relate it to a lot of house music. You know what I mean? So they took that and they slowed that down. But then again, that isn't a hip hop approach.
Brian Steen,
That is a hip hop approach. That's how hip hop was created. We took old songs and just found the drum patterns and just looped that.
Sure.
Instead of rapping over that. That's how hip hop was created. So the same way, in a sense, they took old house songs, slowed them down for South African pace and started rapping on them, doing their Kwaito stuff. And that's what became Kwaito. And now, definitely Amapiano is a child of Kwaito. There's no doubt about it. And anybody that doubts that doesn't understand South African music enough. It's definitely the kid of, if you might doubt Gomez, the kid of Kwaito, Amapiano,
you can't.
It's a sure thing.
Undeniable.
Like
father and son.
Yeah, too many things. That's the same thing.
Yeah, it's basically the
same thing, just happening now. You know what I mean? I can't imagine Kwaito sounding 1994 now. Things are even faster now. You know what I mean? Like how we listen to music. It's more.
I mean, even with the Reese Madlisa and Zuma.
Those guys.
The way they present their voice.
They are quite.
Give my champlan. I don't know if there's no my champlan. Give my champlan direct, dog. It's the way they carry themselves. And I'm liking how they also, especially the two, Reese and Zuma, because those are my favorite, how they're also bringing the Kwaito culture into how they carry themselves.
That gangster
they're not doing too much of the hip hop thing.
Sure.
It's more how the Kasi Kwaito culture, how it was. The little, I think it's LC, whatever it is.
LC, that label.
They're pushing that. That's, you know what I mean? And I'm sure
and D-Keys,
D-Keys.
Lacoste.
Those are very Kwaito-ish high-end labels at the time. You know what I mean? So, I love that.
But you guys, you Versace, Balenciaga.
Hip hop was go Gucci. But then I want to ask you this though, ne? Like, do you think hip hop didn't appreciate producers enough? Because in Amapiano, the producer is everything. Like, the producer is everything to a point where a song can be number 1, 6 without a vocalist. You know what I mean?
Again, time and growth has to do with a lot of how things are now compared to how they were before. Like we said, most of the artists or the people involved in Amapiano were or still are involved in hip hop or come from a hip hop culture, right?
Yeah, like Mapori.
So, or like Mapori, anybody. Choose all of them. You can mention them, all of them. Yeah, you can mention all of them, right? They come from a hip hop culture. Our mistakes as hip hop culture, they've learned that.
They're rectifying the mistakes that y'all did. Yeah,
they're doing very well. They're doing this togetherness they have, they've seen it not work. We don't have it. That's what's missing in hip hop. They're taking that and fixing it. That's why you see a producer right now featuring himself without doing anything. Now I'm not doing anything as an artist, as a performing artist. Like let's say one of my favorite producers, Tyler ICU.
Sure.
He produces a song, but he's featuring Tyler. So he's taking that space. You're gonna know me. I'm gonna be, as much as you know the artist, you're also gonna know me. You know what I mean? And that's just the step towards the right direction, I feel. You know what I mean? So it's nothing to say they're doing better. They're learning. It's lessons learned that and I'm glad that they're taking those lessons to bring to a new genre that is ours and making it better. And vice versa, we should kind of say, okay, we need to do that back. We need to do that more of that again, or whatever the case is. So, man, I think producers have always definitely been looked down from a music perspective, not just hip hop, but mainly hip hop. Because I think other genres, the artists really respect the producers. Because in other genres, the artist is nothing by himself. He doesn't write. He doesn't do it. He's mostly just a voice. In most other genres, R&B, they're usually just a voice. So you need a host of people to actually create a song. So you're gonna love and respect those people and take care of them. You know what I mean? And unless with a rapper where now you feel you can do anything yourself and just get a beat, from the internet and rap and be gone.
Yeah.
Then you're eliminating a lot of people. You're the only person that's
Sure.
important.
Yeah. The
You
whole
know what I mean?
team, yeah.
You're the only person that's important. Even if you do find a producer, you know, which was like the thing with South Africa and South African hip hop producers that I really hated. Artists loved to gravitate to a producer or maybe pick a producer and say, yo, you're producing for me because I like your style, especially when they're starting off. And they build together whatever they do and they will create the sound and the album that they do. And then the artist becomes who? Now becomes a well-known artist or maybe now an expensive artist, making money artist. You know what I mean? And then now the producer's like, okay, I guess my rate should also go up.
Sure.
Naturally so.
Yeah.
Naturally so. I mean, your rate has gone up, rightfully so. You know what I mean? My rate should also go up, not for you only, but for everybody. Not only for you, but for
Yesterday's
everybody.
price is not today's price.
Thank you.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So that's where we at, you know? And as soon as you do that, a lot of artists now will let go and find another kid that was where you were 2 years ago.
Because now they don't want to pay 80,000
Yeah,
for a
but now
beat.
they want to find another kid to start doing the same and put another kid where you are 2 years from now and leave them here. So that's what they've been doing. Get a new kid, and once it's like, let me go get another one.
Sure.
Because it's all these kids trying to produce, and in production, I mean, a kid that's trying to produce will do anything
To
for
get
a
on.
PH or for an AKA, and so AKA says produce for me, dog. That kid will take transport money
Yeah.
just so I can produce 4 songs at your crib or whatever to do something. They'll do that. And I
Definitely.
think artists take advantage of situations like that.
Sure.
Easily so, because hey, you know, you produce for me, you're gonna be hot. You know, but it needs to go because the hotness doesn't sustain anybody, you know. If we're not making money, if we're not creating a career for the guy, if we're not creating an avenue for him to create more clientele like yourself, you know, then if you're trying to be the only clientele and when you're done, you want to shut him down and say, you know, go. You're not even promoting him to the Rex. Okay, guys, I've got another producer. I mean, it's just messed up, you know, the relationship between the artists, rappers and producers. It hasn't been the great. But I must say, there are a couple that I really value and really thank God that I can still see that, you know. For one is there's Java and
Rough.
and
Rough. Yeah.
And empty also.
that is and MT2, you know, and yeah, the 3 of them. That is a perfect example of what you get when you appreciate your person and you grow together.
Yeah.
Musically, you can't separate them anymore because now they've grown together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not just you supply me a beat
Sure.
and I just jump on it. You know, they actually now make music together and now they are growing together and they're sustaining each other. You know what I mean? And like they sustain, which is it's very hard to see when the artists grow and the producers also kind of being sustained. You know,
Sure.
you don't see that in hip hop, but that you've seen. Like wherever Java's going, Ruff is going. Not just going, but Ruff is comfortable. You don't see him complaining. He's focused on his music. You can see all he does is buying equipment, making sure he's got the best of the best every time. That's what he's focused on because he's been allowed to do that. You know what I mean? He's been investing in that. Like, dog, as long as you do that, more of that, I'm going to keep messing with you. You know what I mean? From a Java's perspective or an artist's perspective. So that for me is an example that I want everybody to kind of like look at and study. Like it's very valuable and it's a long term. You might not have the number 1 hits all the time because maybe the current producer is someone else. The current hit producer might be someone else. But you will sustain yourself. You'll never make bad music. You'll never make trending music. You'll always make music that you want to make. You know, because you guys understand each other. So you're not just chasing a beat, chasing a hot thing, or chasing whatever. You're actually just doing music that you both understand. And there should never be an artist without a producer relationship. That doesn't make sense to me. An artist has to have a very close relationship with the producer. Another person is right here, Leslie and Double D. You guys might not see that. But that relationship, I mean, Double D as a producer / DJ has found a career because of what Deleuze is doing, almost like most guys do. Like, he's never letting him go. Like, yo, dog, we'll run together, we win together. You know what I mean?
Sure,
it's not when we win now, go do your own thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that type of relationship is needed between artists for both artists and producers to grow. I'm sweating as hell. Can you guys see that?
Yo, it's hard though.
Yeah. All right, cool.
But what I wanted to ask you, like, let's just take it back for a bit, you know. What was your relationship with HHP before his passing?
It's such a beautiful relationship we had. I mean, obviously, it began musically. It was a music relationship. It began with us just working together, recording music. But we became friends. But more than that, we became like spiritual brothers. We used to pray together.
Yeah.
You know, we used to sit together. We'd come to my studio, we just talk about God and life and all kinds of things. So we really connected on a very, very high level that I haven't done with anybody else in the game. You know, not even Reason on that level. You know, on a really high spiritual level. So I was really close to him, more than most, I think, artists would have been to any artist at that time. You know, I knew a lot that was going on in his mind. He told me a lot. He shared some stuff, you know, and I could relate, man. I could relate. But man, that guy is such a good person, man. I don't think it even kind of warms my heart just speaking to him about it. I've never seen someone so giving of himself, his talent. Whatever he has was everybody. I mean, he literally made the whole Motswako.
True.
He took whatever he was, this HHP, and said, it's yours for you guys to flourish. That's why you've seen everybody from Morafe to Khuli to Casper.
Hey, Reese.
That is HHP in the manner that you guys couldn't have seen because it wasn't up front, but he gave everybody an opportunity. You know what I mean? When you didn't have to, when everybody was his competition. You know what I mean? He made everybody. He created his competition by giving them giving them an opportunity. So that's the kind of person he was. So yeah, I mean, I had a good relationship with him, and I still do miss him. You know, I still miss my sessions with him.
If you would like think back to one memory, like what's your common memory? How do you remember him as right now? You know,
I remember him chasing my dogs every time he comes to my. Yeah, I got these two dogs at the old studio, RawX studio. We used to have, we still have them.
Yeah.
Two dogs, drum and bass. So I got them when I got to the studio, drum and bass. So, you can
Sure.
So he had a love relationship with those dogs. He would literally just come to my house just to chase those motherfuckers, you know.
Really?
Yeah, because they would chase him, they would chase her. Before he even talks to me, he'll go to her house, like, where are those horns? And he just chases them and just has...
Those horns.
Yeah. So that was always the funniest thing, you know, like yeah, he pays attention to small things that no one else kind of would. You know, like dogs, the little freaking dogs. And he had a relationship with them. Like, we'll shout at them and they'll shout at him. They would see him, they would know this nigga's here. He's about to be on. You know, we're about to get to, wow, something's going to happen. It was that kind of relationship. So that's like, I remember that memory a lot.
So now thinking about like him and preserving his memory, I mean, like, there's a big issue that we don't talk about in the music industry, which is mental health, you know?
Yes.
And I know you've been vocal about it several times, you know? Especially when Makwa came out to say something, you were vocal, and the late HHP himself was also vocal about it. So like, what do you say in terms of like mental health in the industry and like the impact of it in the industry and how we lose great talents before that time, you know?
I mean, number one, I'm also kind of learning around it, you know. I'm not an expert in it. I do believe I've probably gone through it myself. I'm sure most of us have as black men, South African, you know, but we just don't know how to navigate through it. We don't even know how to identify it. But I mean, I think when it comes to the industry, most of it we what's the word? We created ourselves, you know. We you know, the pressure that we put on ourselves, the social media pressures that comes along with it, is I think is a big part of why we depressed, you know, because we forever trying to impress the next person and never happy with yourself, you know. But you spend a lot of time trying to make sure everybody else give you a thumbs up. I like you. You want those likes every day. You want to be told you are liked. You want to be told you are wearing nicely. You want to be told you are hot. And we live off those comments or of those assertive things, you know, that if you don't get them enough, then you start doubting yourself. And unfortunately, in the industry, it's a big part of that, because, you know, fame is a big part of what
Being
we
liked.
Yeah. No. It's a big part of the fuel that kind of pushes this whole genre, this whole industry. So if you're not balancing that well enough, depression is going to be rife in the industry, just like it is right now. If monies are not taken care of the right way, you're going to be depressed, because money will depress anybody, whether you're an artist or just a guy that doesn't have a job. You know what I mean? And then you come to the industry where there is no consistency sometimes with the finance, and you also have to deal with the need to look good all the time. So now you're broke and you need to look good, and when you don't
Aish.
have any, it's a lot of pressure. You know what I mean? It's and you can't even go out. You can't even say the
And the
right
circles
thing.
you're not fit in.
Yeah. You know, that becomes an issue. So there's so much to deal with, and also, again, man, this identity crisis that we as South Africans are dealing with also has a big part of it. You know, where we want to belong, you know, somewhere in the world, and mostly trying to be okay being black. You know, I think as much as we supported, we kind of not still okay with being black. You know what I mean? We're trying to still dilute it a little bit, so we're not as black as we're supposed to. We're a little colored, for lack of a better description. You know what I mean? So, and I'm talking about just all colored people in South Africa, like not just black, but also Indian, but mostly black people. You know, so that identity thing also has a lot to do with our mental states and how we think and how we treat situations, you know, and how we navigate ourselves through our careers, whether it's music or any other thing. Even our relationship with women, is terrible because of that. You know, our relationship with our mothers and our daughters and sisters is ridiculously bad. You know what I mean? And it's because we have no understanding of who we are and no ground to say, okay, this is where we are building from and this is what we're getting rid of. You know what I mean? We're always trying to look good when we are not good. We are very sick people. We're a very unhealthy nation in mentally. And
gone through so much trauma.
We've got so much trauma, and all we want to do is party it out, right? Yeah, that's what we want to do, is party it out. So, but now the people that we party with are the ones that are dying now. The artists are the ones that are dying. So if the artists are dying, what are y'all gonna party to?
Yes.
You know, what are the people gonna listen to relieve their stress? So we have to help the artists so we can help the nation, just like we've been helping the nation the last 2 years, even though the nation hasn't done shit for us during Corona. We've been the biggest, if not the only, real solution to people. Yeah. Which is entertainment. Music.
The escape. Just some sort of creativity. We've been offering that to everybody in South Africa, from the office to your workplace, to your home, you know, whether it's from TV, from watching Boko Mora endlessly and now becoming part of it or whatever, or listening to music to a point where we've created our own genre. We call Amapiano to the world. We've saved South Africa. We've given South Africa a lot to speak about when there was nothing to speak about as artists. Yeah. And the government hasn't done shit for us. Yeah. And that makes me very angry, because our biggest thing right now is Amapiano. That's what's holding South Africa up. It's not soccer. It's not rugby. It's not cricket. It's not any sport or anything but this thing called Amapiano, which is music. And it's the most underrated or just thing that then brushed aside
as artists, as if we should get the last plate. We should be getting the first plate, because the reason people are going to work on Monday is because they had some sort of a weekend.
A getaway.
Sure.
You understand that? Because we gave them some sort of a weekend. Setri was there with them. Matumani was there with them.
Sure.
You can go back and suffer with you on Monday nicely. But you don't see that. You know what I mean? And what happens? Artists are getting depressed and are dying. And you're going to have a whole nation dying if you don't have music now. So please, government, for fuck's sakes.
spinning fire right now.
Like-
What is your relationship? What is your relationship with Khuli right now? Where does it stand?
Kind of null and void. Really, not much there. I mean, it's really, I can't say we have a relationship. We know each other. We bump into each other high. It's not a bad relationship. It's not a negative relationship.
Yeah.
But we don't have a relationship. Yeah.
I mean, I would imagine that there would be the guy that you would be the closest with, considering the work that y'all have done.
You would think
when
so.
I listen to Lost in Time, I'm like, this is top 3 albums ever. You know what I mean? Like, Utoko Originator, like ever, you know? So
yeah. I don't even lie to you, man. I could candy coach it and make it sound good, and make it sound nice and say, yeah, we cool, but we're not. I'm not cool. We just don't have a relationship.
Yeah.
We don't have a relationship. I have his numbers. He has my numbers. There's nothing we really talk about to say where is my friend or anything like that. I mean, we both have kids. Our kids don't know each other, so that should say it.
Yeah, that says a lot. Damn.
What happened with him and Naughty?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
I mean, like, I would just think because of the work you've done together and achieved, it's like you guys would be on a, hey, where you are Saturday, what are you doing? Let's chill, you know, type
like
of
the
thing.
relationship that you have with Reason.
Yeah. I'm so. The relationship I have with Reason is one of a kind. Yeah.
Something you got with Double HP and now Reason.
Yeah. I'm glad.
everyone.
Like it's really. I'm glad I managed to get one out of it because I would have been really depressed.
One.
Yeah, I mean, Reason is the only guy I can really say. The other guy that I must mention, right? And people might say, I mean, we're shooting at his house right now. It's Leslie. I've known Leslie since 1992. People will know that.
Damn, bro. I wasn't even
What's
thought
with
of
the
it.
attitude?
I was still in the nutsack, though.
Yeah, I mean, we went to the same school in Bishop Bay in St. George's. You might not know it, but it's in Bedfordview. I was always in the higher standing than him, but even him, Bongani Fast used to go to the same school as well. So TK also, the late TK, you probably don't know them. So there's a couple of people that I kind of went to school with. Huh? TK, no, she was a vocalist.
Oh.
One of the biggest. Google her, TK.
Okay.
Yeah.
She was pretty much our. No, man, she was our Whitney Houston.
Whitney Houston.
Nah, don't get it twisted.
Sure.
Even the way she went out, sorry to kind of put it out there, you know, she went out like a superstar. You know what I mean? Like, Google her, find out. She, TK was everything, man. She had the biggest voice ever. So, like I'm saying, Leslie is one guy that we are really starting to build a relationship because now we've known each other. Like I'm saying, I've known him more than I've known everybody.
Sure.
You know, I've known him more than I've known anybody in this world, in the game. Like just in time since '92,
Sure.
and we happen to be in the same industry. And so even then, when we were bumping into each other, we would always have that respect for each other, but never really kind of build a relationship because we were in two different spaces, right?
Yeah.
Hold on.
I don't know.
Is it? Can you guys cut or something?
We can cut for now.
Yeah. Let me,
Yeah, no. Where were we? In terms of your relationships.
Oh
which
yeah,
you've been having.
I was saying, right, being here at Liz's crib, like I was explaining, I've known him for a very long time, no longer than I've known any other artist per se.
Yeah.
But our relationship only kind of really began this year, and I say that I mentioned him because we had the same space in our lives. You know, we couldn't have never been friends the last couple of years. We're in different two spaces. Mindsets were different, right? Now, our mindsets have kind of come together. Okay. Our mindsets have kind of like on the same space, you know, with us being fathers, you know,
Sure.
and also having survived the game for so long, you know what I mean? And also now being a part of introducing new people into the game and so forth. So there's so much we can speak about and we can relate to each other. So he's one that I've kind of taken him close into my heart, you know what I mean? And say like, no, I want to see where this goes when it comes to relationships in the industry. So besides that, I try not to have too many. It's just associates, man.
Really?
Yeah. So yeah.
Like even AKA, yeah, no, because alter ego, you knew each other since then.
Yeah. Like I say, man, relationships are something else, man. Like I'm associated with him. He's a friend of mine, but it's a very tricky line in this industry. You know what I mean? Like you can't be friends because we've worked with each other. Friendship, the word friendship exists outside of the music.
The work,
it's a real thing.
Genuine.
It's a genuine thing. You know what I mean? Are we calling each other? Are we checking up on each other? You know, are we relying on each other on this and that? Are we crying on each other's shoulders? You know, are we advising each other correctly? You know, are we making better examples of ourselves to each other, or whatever the case is? You know, and there's not a lot of people that I see myself doing that with, or have done that with, and that's why I can't really say they're my friends, because I do have friends outside of the industry that I cannot compare them to. I cannot put them in the same box and say
Sure.
he's also my friend in that one. No ways, I can't. You know, even though I might even see them more, I see the artists more. I might be in their spaces more than I am, but those are what I recall. I cannot call my friends. So, no, the industry doesn't have friends, buddy. I don't have friends. I have one, like I've just mentioned. You know what I mean? And the rest are pending.
Hey.
Did you discover Shoma Josie?
No, I didn't discover Shoma Josie. I mean, I never discovered anybody, guys.
Younger?
No, there's no one.
So
People
you already
discover
got them while
themselves.
they were on their way.
Everybody knows what they want. You know what I mean? It's not like I say, hey, you look like you could be a good rapper. You
And then they start
rapping.
Sure,
Then,
yeah.
I like the way you talk. I like the way you walk. I think you can sing. I like the way you. There was never that. These are people that saw something in me, and they were like, yo, dude, I'm trying to do this, and I feel like you can be a big part of it, or can help me get to the next level. You know what I mean? So fortunately, that is allowed me so many opportunities to be part of so many careers. You know what I mean? Because people trust me, people see that in me. You know what I mean? See, and the work is spoken for itself as well. You know, so that is giving me a position to be a part of their careers at the early stage. You know, they're like where they're still developing. You know what I mean? I'm a big part of their development stage, which is a big part of who they are right now. Obviously, they're still growing and becoming better and becoming more who they are outside of what I've done. But I'm at that part where they move from the idea into becoming it. They move the idea of their artist, and I make them an artist, and then they run with that. So that's what I've done. You know, I wouldn't say I've discovered anybody, but I have definitely played a very huge role and an important role in making hip hop what it is in South Africa.
But where did you meet like Abo Shoma Josie and Younger Chief? You know,
like I said, they were brought to me. Well, depending on situation. Shoma Josie was brought to me. I just done a song with Malum Kokat, with JR. So Kokat was recording in my studio at the time, and then he was still working on his album. And then Sanele, one of the guys from Boys and Bucks, right? Contacted me because what had happened, they were having a session, right? Because I think she knew Sanele or something like that before everybody. Called her and said, look, Mamlum Kokat is having a session, but not in my studio, at whatever studio they were working at. And she was invited. So she came there because she's a poet, right? She didn't come there as an artist. She came there as a writer. So she had gone there thinking she's gonna write, as far as I understand, she was gonna write something for Malum Kokat or whatever the case is. Got there, they're doing the song, and I think she wrote whatever she wrote, and she said it. And my mom was like, dude, what are you doing? You can't write for me. Fucking Malum
Get in the booth.
I'm Malum Kokat. You know, I write my shit type of thing, you know? But you could do this, you know, you do it. I don't know if she was planning on doing, but do it. And then that song came out.
The Gom song, wow.
And then that song came out, that whole Milano, what?
Yo,
yeah.
But that song was a number.
So that song,
I love that song.
That song came out of that. Then I think a couple of weeks after that session, or maybe a couple of days, I don't remember, she wanted, someone had wanted her to record a feature for some song, I think from Ghana or something like that. One of the artists there at the time that she had kind of bumped into wanted her to feature. So she had the song that she wanted to record. So Sandela called me. So, yo, dude, there's this girl. Mang. And she's looking for a studio, what. I'm like, cool. I was kind of like, why is he sending her to me? I mean, I just kind of understand. Like, okay.
Sure.
Yeah, you send me a number, and I see a profile pic. And she's wearing the whole attire, Tsonga attire. And then she's like, she's doing some crazy thing when she's wearing that attire.
Sure.
What the fuck is going on here? So immediately I'm like, okay, I see probably why, because she's Tsonga. You know that Tsonga. So, okay, bring it through. But now I'm just interested to see what the hell could this be about.
Yeah.
She comes in there. As soon as she walks in the gate, see her from a distance. Just almost like Reese, I just knew it. I just knew it. Like, yeah, okay, this is it. It's just her energy. She came in there. I remember the sneaks she was wearing. I remember everything she was wearing, actually. But her energy was so contagious. It's so real, authentic, and real and contagious. There's no way you could say it's just another person. She came in, she did her thing, she did the song she was supposed to do, and now I was still working on my album at the same time. I was like, dude, there's a song I think you can jump on. Bam, she does it. There's another song. Bam, she does it. There's
another one.
So and that day, I think we probably did 3 songs or something like that. And then from there on, we were just musically, I was connected with her, we were connecting. And she was like, yeah, that's how it built. And like, yo.
Did you see her becoming the star that she was internationally too, though?
Yeah.
She's so appealing to the international market.
This, guys. She probably doesn't like me saying this, but I've spoken to her about this, even her father. This is just a stepping stone. This music thing, it's not it for her. Whether she knows it or not, but I think she knows it.
Yeah.
It's not the end of her lifespan. This is this part of, she's going to do big things, great things. I'm talking about on a presidential level, on a...
You're the second person saying that now.
Yeah, she's on a presidential level. You know what I mean? So it's just weird that she actually has music in her blood as well. But her big stage, I think, it's not music. It's just going to be using music to be in the space, but she's going to lead a lot of people. She's a leader, and then she's easily the first female president of South Africa.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So where did you meet Younger Chief?
Fuck, when did I meet Younger Chief? It's funny, I don't have a direct story for Younger. How did I meet Younger Chief? I think I met him via, was it Rich Mahog, or did I meet him before Rich Mahog? Yeah, I think it was during the time when you guys will know, there was a little company or thing that we had started called Mahogany Group or something like that, right? And he was one of the creatives because he was working at, I think he was still working at Slick and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So he was one of the creatives there. So, I think Rich Mahog did introduce me. So one time, I think during the time, if you know this story, you also introduced him to AKA. Through a song he was playing. You played some songs of the boy. You know what I mean? So you also played me the songs. I don't know if it was the same day or different days, but you also played me those songs. I was like, well, okay, this kid is pretty dope. Dope. So from then on, we kind of just built a musical relationship. And then I think he gravitated to JR. I was very close to JR still. I am a little bit. So he gravitated to JR and we started working. JR kind of called me in and stuff like that to kind of help this music. I'm a bit confused by what's around that time because nothing was official. We were just kind of working with each other. So I just ended up doing his first single, which was Amapiano. So, which also had the remix with AKA and Kid X. So that's our relationship just kind of started within the industry, let's say, while I was running around there pretty much, yeah.
So tell me though, dude, you had your national hits. You definitely did the Bump the Cheese Up.
I didn't do Bump the Cheese Up. Bump the Cheese Up was done by Hope, I think.
Because I was always under the impression you did Bump the Cheese Up and all those things.
Hope Master did that. If I'm not wrong, he did that and I did Yippee-Ki-Yay. I think
yes, I'm mixing the two up because they both had. So I wanted to ask you, in that era, how much money were you making? Because
Nothing. Are you out of your mind? I've never made extensive amount of money in this game, dog. I came at a time where there was no money to be made per se. You know, like the money to be made was very little, especially for a producer at the time. You know what I mean? Because the only way I would make money was through royalties. And then it's not like I was making, people were coming for me for beats every week. You know, people say, here's 10,000, want to beat 10,000 every week. Well, it didn't happen like that. It
wasn't like that.
It doesn't happen like that. It never happens like that. Even now it doesn't happen like that. You go through a period, like people don't record, sometimes they record. Sometimes, you know, like right now, I don't think there's a lot of people recording because this music is coming out now. So there's that period between now and for a while, not a lot of people are looking for beats. They're out there releasing their music. So as a producer, how you make your money if you're not selling beats at the time?
Yeah.
For 3-4 months. So I made my money through the recording studio itself, like offering the services that I did, like recording, mixing and mastering, and artist development. So I charge per hour. So I'm expensive per hour. Like my time is my value. You know what I mean? My thoughts, my everything. That's my spending time with me should cost you money. So yeah, it should.
It's a flex. It's a flex.
It should.
Yeah.
But so that's how I charge, you know. And then obviously now and then there's the beats that people want, and I charge. But that's also kind of, I can't charge you the same way I'm gonna charge Drake, right?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna charge whatever I charge Drake. It's not gonna be the same when I charge AKA, bro.
Sure.
Yeah.
You pick that up, right?
Sure.
So on every level, it's gonna be like that. You know, like so there's no consistency to say, you know, this is how much I could sell 5 beats this week, but maybe make 15,000. You know, because maybe I sold. Well, I'm talking about I sold 3,000 here, 2.5 there, whatever the case is. But I never sold for 2. I started from 5K when I started off. And then once I was charging the 15s, they disappeared. They went to find another guy that
which
could
is
charge
what you were
5.
saying
Yeah, they don't
earlier,
find another guy that can charge 5. So once you charge, they go find another guy that's ready to charge 2,000, 1,000, 5,000, whatever.
But then wouldn't it be like the quality that you are giving is so high?
They're
and it's exactly what
compromise
they
They're
want.
willing to risk it.
They're willing to risk it.
And
yeah.
you can see how some of it has gone down. So you can see how some of the careers have gone down, to be honest.
Damn.
But they're willing to risk it. Those that haven't risked it, I say it again. MT, Ralph, and Java. They haven't risked it. They have nothing to miss. They can't miss. No. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to have number 1 song, but they can't miss.
That magic works.
Yeah, it's there.
The sound is there. It's like
there.
you want to listen
There's an
regardless.
understanding.
Yeah.
There's a music understanding. Then you know the quality will never be compromised. You know they've taken you there and they're keeping you there.
Yeah.
Whether they take you further, but they're definitely not taking you lower than they were 5 years ago.
Sure.
They've improved because they're improving together. It's not one person improving, trying to find somebody that can level up to you. Maybe find a producer that, you know, you're always chasing for something. You're always chasing for a song instead of making music. You know what I mean? And chasing a song is it can be difficult.
So what would you say was your years where you were literally making the most revenue?
Show my Jersey years. Just the last couple of years.
So it's not that far.
It's not that far at all. Yeah. I'm still gonna make my money. I'm not done yet. I'm not leaving until I make my money in this game.
Sure.
Trust me, I've done too much not to at least pay for one of my kids' school fees fully with this thing. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So I'm quarter 2 clocking it because now I'm thinking outside the box. Thank God for Corona.
Sure.
You know, I'm thinking outside the box. I'm thinking outside just being a producer or even just being an artist and the services that I offer. I'm working on things that, you know, will sustain not only me, but also the game and then more careers moving forward and also pay my bills.
So tell me, how did you get to a point where you had your own studio and which decision did you come to close it down, you know?
Well, that was not an easy decision. Like I said, man, at the time when I was coming up, you couldn't tell your parents you want to do music, never mind be a producer. What example?
If you went to a private school.
Yeah. You know, what examples are you going to show them? And then what's going to happen? Who's doing that?
Yeah,
That's
no
making
one.
money. I mean, Kanye West was out, nigga.
Sure.
Put that in mind. Not even Kanye West had done that shit at the time when I was trying to do that shit. Only person that I knew that had done that shit was Ammunition, producer. You probably don't know him.
I know Ammunition.
He was the only producer rapper that had actually crossed over and released an album. And I think was nominated for the summer. If didn't win the summer. Oh no, he didn't because we won the first hip hop. No, I mean he didn't. Hey? But anyhow, no. We didn't win the first hip hop. Squad Camp, we won the first album of the year. Not hip hop, album of the year. It was a hip hop album of the year.
That's impressive.
Yeah, the second time, guess who was it? Rough.
Oh,
can you see the connection?
Sure.
Can you see what's happening there?
Yeah.
Learn from that. Rough is the next guy that did it with MT.
Sure.
Just see the pattern. Stick with that.
But then with the MT one, there was a lot of politics about.
Yeah, but never mind the politics, but the music.
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna lie. The music was a classic. A complete
the music cannot be doubted.
Sure.
It deserved, even if they had bought those awards, the music was deserved.
Yeah, no, the music was amazing.
There was no reason for us to doubt it.
There
was no reason at all for us to doubt it, and I don't think that's even the matter. You know, I mean, the music lasts past the award days, the award shows anyhow. So that doesn't matter anymore. So that's it.
So like, was it your parents that invested in your studio?
Yeah, dog. So I mean, I'm from a well-off family, you know. And when I say well-off, I don't mean extensively. I'm not the less, right? You know I mean?
Sure, yeah.
But we well off for us to leave Guyana to come and stay in Joburg in Foyes. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Yeah.
The North lifestyle.
You know what I mean? I've been north. From North Limpopo to North.
I
know the North, nigga. I live the North. But besides that, no, my parents have done well. My parents have done well for themselves with the construction company that they started in Guyana all the way in Limpopo. So it came here. When it came here, they also continued. They went bankrupt too. They were. I almost slept at my gardener's house because we were kicked out of our house in Foyes. And the only place, and my parents had to go to Guyana, and the only place we could sleep was our gardener's guy, and he stayed in Deep Sloot at the time. And we were about to go, but then our white opposite people said we can just sleep over there for the night. So yeah, we've been through some shit, but my parents still well off, nonetheless. You know what I mean? They're well off. So when I wanted to do music, it was a no-no, you know, because they wanted me to get into construction. They wanted me to learn something, study something that I can put back into construction. So what I did, I chose the most creative form of that was interior design because I could draw. I'm quite artistic, I can draw. So I did interior design, which I was doing well until the music bug started kind of hitting hard.
So you went to like university to study interior design? You even got a job and stuff?
No, I didn't get a file.
Oh.
So I went there to
first year, boys.
Yeah, second year.
Second year.
Yeah, I was that down to quit a second year.
Sure.
It was just too much, man. I don't know if I hadn't done Swada as yet. But now I started working with WhatsApp. So I'd kind of produce 1 or 2 tracks for Zabs and Proverb at the time, you know. So I was like, nah, man, I want to do this shit. You know what I mean? I want to do this shit. And I wasn't focusing on school anymore. So it got to a point where I failed. I didn't fail, but I did so bad. You know what I mean? From really doing well, so bad it was a problem. And my parents weren't about to pay because they were paying for a very expensive school. It was Escape Design. I don't know if you guys know it.
No.
So it was a kind of expensive school. So they weren't about to pay for another year to start again second year. So we're gonna do this. We're gonna find another cheaper school. So I went to Damlin. Bad mistake. Because Damlin has a music side. I didn't know that as well.
Sure.
So I just transferred to interior design. Went there for like a couple of months, met a couple of guys and no break time or whatever like that. And they said they're going to class music. What? So slowly I just started gravitating to that class. I would go to school but not go to my interior design class. And I would pass. I just hand in, you know, and do minimum because I'm very artistic like that. So I could draw things nicely and just minimally pass. So what happened is as the year progresses, you know, I'm just doing a lot of studio time at Damlin and stuff like that. I think even Tibo Touch used to. Tibo Touch, the DJ, attached central. He was also what you call a lecturer there at some point. So anyhow, no, not a lecturer. Not
I was like, yo, you guys there? Even school with you attached.
Not at all. Not at all. So yeah, he was a lecturer, I think, at the same time. So slowly, I was just gravitating to that class all the freaking time. To a point where the teachers kind of, I think, highlighted my parents and said, yo, Dad, what's going on? This kid is not coming to school. They said, what the hell you mean? This boy be waking up every morning, he's up, he's going, I'm up. I'm not gonna lie to you, dog. Me, this music thing is the thing. Yo, I have to do this music thing. Otherwise, it's not gonna
you won't be happy as a person.
Yeah, I'm gonna be a bad son. You know, you gotta give me this shit, you know? So eventually they did. I left Demlin and I went to ASE, SABC, Academy of Sound Engineering. So,
Oakland
yeah. So I was one of the first students, no, maybe the second year there, you know, when they opened. So that's why I got my papers for my sound engineering stuff. So that's why I did it. Got that, and it was like, after that, like, and then now what? And it was true, like, what? I need a studio. I'm like, we've gone this far. Yeah, I think let's turn this garage of mine into a studio. Let's just turn it into a studio. Well, and I'm working now because I now went to work for my dad. So I'm working at the time. So even when I was doing Khuli stuff, I was working. I used to work 9 to 5. I never used to sleep. I don't have bad sleeping patterns even to now. Like 9 to 5, from 5 until 1 recording. 6 o'clock go to work. So I did that for 2 years. So when I was doing that, this is now after schooling, right? So I'm working and I'm doing this music thing and working at the same time. And then that happens during that time. You know what I mean? Because I done Mutako Originators, doing all right, but not enough for me to let go, you know?
Sure.
Then we do Lost in Time. That now picks up. Lost in Time is really kicking ass, you know? During that time, I think it was right after I won the award.
Sure.
Fuck it. I had a little studio, but I started building my own studio, but was my little cash, so nothing serious. But when that happened, I told my parents, come on. So yeah, like I'm saying, so as soon as Joada kind of hit, and I'm working at the same time, I kind of had a leeway to not convince my parents, like, yo, dude, something is happening.
Because you have a hit song.
Yeah. No money, but it's straight direction. I mean, it's kind of visible because there's something happening here.
Sure.
So I'm like, yo, dude, need to build a studio. You know, that's the only way I can make proper money off of this. You know, like capitalize off what's happening here. You know, and that's because I have a construction company. Because they have the construction companies, was quite easy for them to kind of put that together. So bam, let's build the studio. After a year, quit. Told my parents,
you're dropping out.
I gotta leave. Dropping out. Quit the work.
Oh yeah,
work.
Yeah,
I gotta leave work. You know, and that was very tough for my parents, especially my dad. You know, because they planned on me kind of taking over per se. But I was like, nah, I gotta do this thing. So that's when it kind of took off. That's when I really just left everything and took everything I had and took every cent that I mean, at that time, even the business wasn't doing well anyhow. I wasn't doing the best at the time, you know. So I was like, yo, this is my opportunity to bring something else into the table. You know what I mean? That's how I got the studio, and that's how we came here.
And then the point of like you saying, okay, the era, or I would just say the time has come for you to close it down. How did you get to that point?
I mean, it was Corona, man. You mean the studio, right?
Yes.
It was even before Corona per se. But things were really slowing down for me, you know. People were not coming anymore, you know. Things were just slowing down. I wasn't getting the clientele I was getting, and also my life was just not going the right way. So it was at a point where, also like I'm saying, the business also side from my parents, I wasn't doing too well. So I had to sell the house that I was staying at, which is where the studio was. It was tough decision. We didn't want to do it at all, but I had to sell the guy so we can have a little bit of money to move forward. So that's how RawX Studio was gotten rid of. Well, the studio itself, not the company. But then I moved to Bryanston just before Corona. Moved to Bryanston, and a nice spot there in Bryanston. That's where kind of things were starting to pick up again. But Corona hit. So now, and at that point, I have a Bryanston crib, and I just got another crib where I'm staying, because I was staying at the studio at the same time, this Bryanston crib. But then after a while, I'm like, nah, I want to separate. I want to have my family here and just work separately. So I get a space somewhere out there in 4As and leave the studio here. Leave it as just a studio.
Sure.
But then Corona hits. Then finances just because now I can't even balance both of them anymore. You know what I mean? So, yeah. And then I had to let go of one. So I had to let go of the studio. I can't let go of my kids. With the kids.
Exactly.
I've done that already. I've sacrificed that kind of shit before. So I was like, nah, I gotta let go of the studio. So eventually, that's where I ended up with Leslie. You know, I actually just like, yo, Les. It's like, my bro, it's yours, man. You know, like what's mine is yours. So that's how now basically North Guard Studios is RawX Studios.
Sure.
Yeah.
So in closing, I just wanted to ask, your transition from producer to performing artist and rapper, how's it been? Because like that's a hard transition for a lot.
It's been challenging, man. I mean, I've said this before, but people might just think I'm just gassing or whatever, but Kanye and I are from the same class. We come from the same class. I say this based on the fact that we're also influenced by the same kind of producers before that you guys probably don't know. You know what I mean?
J Dilla.
Yeah. PH RawX, J Dilla, Q-Tip, and all those kind of guys. You know, Izzy B, all those kind of dudes, right? So we influenced by that, and you must know during that time, those guys, there was no options for being a producer and a rapper. You're just a producer. Dilla was actually the first guy. Dilla was the guy that wanted to be a rapper and forced himself to be a rapper by making beats, you know, and just because his beats were just too good. So it happened when Kanye West did it. It kind of just, because I was following Kanye West from an early age, you know, from producing blueprints and stuff like that. So following him and then hearing the little stories as they come out, I go, Jay-Z doesn't want him to rap, you know, like he's been put aside and stuff like that, just following in the internet and stuff. And I'm like, hey, I know that feeling. I know that feeling of artists not really wanting you to be a rapper, because now you're going to be taking our cake and you have your own cake. As a producer cake, now you want to have a piece of the stage cake. And like, yeah, why not? And that was also based, I wouldn't have really forced to be an artist if I got in what I want as a producer. You know what I mean? Yeah, because I had decided to be a producer, leaving that in the farm. But then now it's like, nah, I'd rather do this shit myself. You know, because the effort that I'm putting up to artists is not coming back to me. You know, I'm part of creating artists to make them these mega stars. But the mega stars, that doesn't relate back to me at all. You know, I only get related on the first days, on the creative. So once the music is done, Footech, PH. You know what I mean? So I was like, nah, dog, I'd rather say Footech to myself. PH, you say Footech to PH. You know what I mean? So that's how I was influenced. I'm going to do my music shit. I'm going to be a rapper. And just like also the feel from Kanye West, like, fuck it, if he's doing it, I'm also doing it. So, and that was it. And so that was a hard part of the transition. But now also
the
me
audience.
as an artist, you know what I mean? Now trying to find myself as an artist, you know, never really took too much time to find myself as an artist. As a producer, you can do anything. You know, being a producer, being song, is not, but people thought I was from African because of the whole Mouthtown thing. My whole relationship with Khuli. They thought I was from there. But so when I started rapping, the first thing in my head, like me being Tsonga from Guyana in Limpopo, it's going to be the forefront of how I present myself. That's why my first album was From Guyana with Love. You know, and you know, started introducing Tsonga raps into my stuff. Wasn't too good at it, but fuck it, I was just doing it. So my first album, Finding Myself, so I used a lot of the artists that I was working with, you know, that I like to feature. So the album is full of, I mean, that album, to get features like that in an album like that is crazy. To get Khuli, aka Mandoza, Taniswa Mazwai, Slicker.
Yeah.
I know I'm not the Monewa. Who else? Mandoza, Mando, my E. Yanga.
You're just
Double
calling,
HP.
you're
That's
just
a
calling
heavy
out your
lineup.
Come on,
favors
dog.
that
A
time.
heavy lineup.
You're calling out all the
Yeah, I'm
favors.
calling them. That's exactly.
Cashing in.
If you're not gonna give me the direct cash, y'all owe me X's verses.
Sure.
At the least. And they came through, you know, and all of them were very, you know, yeah, let's do it, no problem, we're with you. But when it came to the pushing of the album, you know, like I would give you the verse for time. There was no real push, you know, I had to push it myself, and that didn't help much, you know, having all those guys, and they ain't saying nothing about it, you know what I mean? It really kind of beats the point. You featuring somebody and they don't do anything about it, you know, so that's not the lessons and difficulties that I'm kind of going through at the point. Okay, how do I find myself as an artist, and how do I navigate? I think I'm good enough. You know, some people think this song, I think I'm just not too much happening. You know what I mean? So that's been my struggle until maybe 2 years ago when I released Sense Experience in Nkhaotic, where I felt I've kind of now slowly gathered myself who I want to be as an artist and how I want to grow from. You know, so that's been my growth. So I'm still growing as an artist. I feel like you never really do stop, but I do feel like I found myself. And the album that I'm about to release is From Journey with Love 2, which this time it features only Limpopo cats, like only Limpopo artists that I want to bring forth, that I want to showcase. You know what I mean? So it's definitely my favorite album out of the whole three that I released. From Journey with Love, Since the Experience in Nkhaotic, this is definitely my favorite. Maybe also because it's new to my head, but more so because I know I've improved. You know what I mean? Myself, I can take on, I like me here than I did last time. You know what I mean? So as an artist, I'm in a space where I bump myself. I never really like listening to myself. I'll just go by people saying this is good. Yeah, but with me, I was like, but now you can't tell me shit. You know what I mean? I know my shit. You know what I mean? I listen to my shit. I know this, you know, the PH, you're kicking ass. You're kicking. This is the joint right there. So I'm in that space of confidence, of having that artist confidence, you know, the artist bravado, ego, whatever it is. So, which I never really had, because I'm kind of in the back of the scenes, you know. You don't need to carry that, you know. So only now I'm learning to carry that and own it, and because I need to own it if I'm gonna, you know, run around against these guys.
No, man, like your sense of honesty to yourself to say you're not doing the best at the start is crazy. Hey, but you say Futek a lot, you know? I've been counting how many times you said Futek. I'm like, you don't swear beyond saying Futek. Like,
That's clean. That's clean.
Sure.
That's clean. That's better than the other ones. Yeah.
No, shout out for having us.
This has
come
been
all the way
legendary,
here.
bro.
I appreciate
I
you
really
coming,
enjoyed
man.
this. Like, thank you for your time.
I enjoy you interviewing me.
Yeah, no, I think for us, it's like a perfect piece of the puzzle would like to have in terms of communicating the South African, not just SA music, because I know like you've been also on Tandin's Mazwai project and everything like that. So just the whole aspect and your role, it's gonna be injustice for us to only talk about it afterwards. God forbid when you're not here
or whatever. Yeah,
you know. So
I appreciate you, man. I do appreciate everything that's happened. I do believe everything I was doing was to get me here. I had to get here. So my work is still ahead. You know what I mean? But I couldn't have achieved anything back then. I had to set the stage for everybody. There had to be a stage. And that's, now it's clear as day. We have a freaking stage in South Africa. Sure. We have real solid ground which we are building on when it comes to hip hop or just whatever, you know, or music as a whole. So I think I'm really proud that I was a fundamental stone in building that stage, you know, that if you remove that stone, it will be a bit unstable. You know what I mean? And my job is to make sure that that stone doesn't get removed and it stays in its place, and I create so I can stand on that same stage as well. You know what I mean? So right now my job is just to grow from here, man. My job was really just to be here now. That was the biggest achievement, to be getting this interview now, not 5 years ago.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like,
to have something to say.
It's now.
Sure.
You know, like after Corona, after everything, now. A lot has happened, but to still be finding myself in some sort of relevance in people's minds and in the game now, it's more value than it's what I hit back then. That's where I see. It's more value than any award I've already won. Me being able to be in a space to present music again and having the ears of people as if I'm a fresh guy, as if I just came last week. You know what I mean? People are still really interested in hearing what I have to say, musically or just my thoughts. So that's I'm proud of being able to do that.
All right, thank you, PH RawX, the legendary PH RawX.
Episode 29, we could have not done it without him, you know. So shout out to that.
Who?
Without you.
Is episode 29.
Yeah.
Nice one.